Is lawlessness on the rise in America? Joining me now to talk about this is Marie Griffin-Taylor, Dean and Assistant Professor of Criminal Justice at Truett McConnell University. She is a former law enforcement officer and former college campus police officer. Marie, welcome to Washington Watch.
Hey, Tony, welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
So let me get your response to that. Is, these mob smash and run looting efforts that we see taking place in California and elsewhere, is that a result of the pandemic? No.
It's a result of liberal policies. You have in San Francisco, you have Chesa Boudin, who is the son of convicted murderers, who wants to sit there and say, oh, it's an arbitrary system. My mom got 55 years less than my dad because she worked a plea deal. Well, of course she worked a plea deal. And because she accepted responsibility for her actions, she was given a lesser sentence. That's a way of rewarding people for accepting their responsibilities for when you do something wrong, admitting it and moving on. His dad chose to go to trial and was given a significantly harsher sentence. And yet we're now being told, well, the system's arbitrary. No, it's not. And when you continue to put these kind of liberal policies in there where you don't prosecute quality of life crimes, that's what they're calling them, quality of life. But you're not going to prosecute them in saying that, oh, it's not, there's no victim. Yes, there are victims. That's why you have stores closing at obscene rates.
Right.
And yet they want to attribute it to the pandemic. Stop it.
Yeah, in fact, today the California Retailers Association president, Rachel Michelin, warned that something needs to be done to stop these smash and grab robberies because people are afraid to go shopping, businesses are closing. Of course, this is, as we hear repeatedly, this is the time of year in which businesses make their profit. This is where it determines whether or not they go into the black. I would argue that this goes back to the summer of 2020, before. It was a manifestation of the 2020 where you had the looting and the rioting, and you had political officials telling the police to back off, to let them have the run of it. Of course, in California, they passed Prop 47 back in 2014, which says they'll no longer prosecute as a felony anything less than $950. So you have criminals going in actually using calculators to make sure they don't exceed the $950. I mean, look, in the New Testament, Paul says the law is a tutor. Now, I know he was speaking spiritually of falling short, but the law has the same effect in society. It shows us what's acceptable and what's not.
Exactly. We need structure. I mean, there are so many studies out there that show life without structure fails. Life without, children without structure have greater issues in school. They're less likely to graduate. And we see this again and again and again. And yet we want to sit there and say, oh, it's because of X. It's because of Y. It's because of Z. When in truth, it's because we're not enforcing laws. We're not forcing people to accept responsibility for their actions. Mm-hmm. And then we're also promulgating this idea of a lack of respect for any and all structure.
Yeah. Well, and of course, that is the whole what is behind the Marxist approach is to destabilize and to destroy structure beginning in the family, organized religion, and then, of course, society more broadly. Professor, thanks so much for joining us today. Great to talk with you.
Thank you so much. It was great to see you again, Tony.
All right, thank you.